Oh, can I ask? I want to say, I had I made up. Look, I have a cum question. Like,
Yes.
Don't you think? I was telling Cody because I was like hungover. I'm not going to share my. You guys don't want to picture me having sex, but I was like, I was having this conversation where I was like, I made some observation where I was like, because I was like, don't you think it takes a lot of water to result in a load of cum?
It dehydrates you?
And she was like, "What are you talking about?" It's like it's as much water as there is. I'm like, "No, it's not like a recipe. You don't like put a little bit of your body doesn't put a little bit of water in your balls and then put a little bit of sperm powder and like it's like there's a process like and don't you think it takes a certain amount of water and a certain amount of sandwiches? Like how many? How, like, what do you think? Like, in a load of ejaculate, like, which is like, I think it's like 100 million sperm are in an ejaculate. So there's this whole process that sperm.
I just read it's 1.2 terabytes of data.
Wait, shut up. Wait,
I actually did see this.
Wait. You mean genetically? Like
genetically, the DNA in a sperm equals.
It was like one sperm is equivalent to 35 megabytes. I don't know if it's real.
Wait, 1.2 terabytes.
One sperm is half the information it takes to make a person. How much data is in a person's DNA?
I expect it to be more than 1.2 terabytes. It's amazing that it's just 1.2.
Doesn't that imply that a full human being is 2.4 terabytes?
No, it implies when you're downloading stuff into your computer, it's having an orgasm.
Sorry.
Say what? What is?
We have either a computer science major or a chronic masturbator.
The two can happen together.
I don't know which it could be.
The two can happen at once, Dan.
It's impossible for it to be both. You're saying it's 124 terabytes. Are you correcting the data of
124 terabytes?
Yeah, Reddit.
Just so you know, I did my doctoral thesis on college cum, and it's 1.2.
Okay, well, so that's. I mean, that really is like we're coming up on the. I mean, because we're coming up on the. Like we're getting close to like Well, wait. Well, we have What is it? Petabytes is next. Like that's the next highest thing. We obviously we have the. Whatever. We've mapped the human genome. What am I? My grandpa. I'm just saying, like pretty soon, teleportation, man. Once you can store everything.
Teleportation's bad news, man. You know about like once you teleport, you're dead. You know.
Right. I mean that philosophical thing.
Yeah, that's true though. Because you can't prove it. I can't prove it's me.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: if you could pick, but so you got to fly across the country, and if you could pick teleportation, but you've got to get kicked in the balls, or like flying on an airplane, what do you pick?
I never want to teleport because that's like going in a suicide booth. It kills you.
That'll be the amazing thing when they invent teleportation. Eventually, there will be a society. I think we'll be dead, but there will be this like concept of like virgins. People who haven't been teleported.
That's right.
And people will start saying like
me.
"Oh, you should talk to Gary." When Gary talks, you can kind of sense that he's using the cells that he was born with.
Yeah, because we can't even fucking print.
I only date teleporters.
Black and white ink. We can't print anything without fucking errors. You think we can print people back out of a fucking teleporter?
You can't even copy a fucking JPEG.
No, we'll be so fucked.
Yeah,
and
for
that's
sure.
your brain. It's like you come out and I don't know Spanish anymore, and it's like that's if you're lucky. Like you'll be fucked.
And you know who's gonna say you never knew Spanish? The fucking dipshit that works behind the teleport booth that's teleported himself 1,000,000 times a day, and he's just like, no, it's great.
But you're assuming the mechanism of teleportation is based on the disintegration and reintegration of the human atomic structure. What if it's some kind of like
wormhole?
Tesseract. What if it's some kind of wrinkle in time shit?
I'm down with that.
So yeah, it's cool.
It's got teleporting. That's what's scary.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know the dissolving...
portals, like walking through a door into another place. Yeah,
that's
great.
safer.
Yeah, hook me up.
Have you read Ringworld?
No.
It's great, but Ringworld's super cool because it's like Larry Niven and it's like way in the fucking future. But in this world, there is teleportation. I don't know if it's like bending the time-space continuum or like destroying your atomic self and reintegrating it or whatever. But what's interesting about it is like there's no such thing as like any one city. All cities have become one massive city because there's no longer any kind of like distance between cities. So what happens on this like super futuristic Earth, which is really cool, is it, and also they've gotten to the level where they can like change their skin pigment. So suddenly the fashions on the planet change like day to day because everyone's so super connected. So like one day people will just start glowing, or like certain like star patterns will appear in people's faces and stuff because they become so interconnected that like.
I guess I'm petty. I just keep saying, I'm like, come on, that's not imaginative.
What the fuck, Harmon?
Yeah, no, I'm listening. I'm like, oh yeah, well, cities get bigger and then they all turn into one big city.
Did you think of it?
And then everybody can change their skin. I'm like,
Did you
come on,
think
that's
of
like.
it? You didn't think of it?
Well, I didn't bother.
Wait a minute.
I was thinking of crazier shit, man.
I
was like, what if a sandwich could make your cum?
By the way, man, when you were talking about that, it was really funny because I kept thinking of like an awesome cooking show.
Okay. You got hungry,
where
is what you're saying.
Where God's like, today we're going to be whipping up just basic cum.
We're gonna make 3 club sandwiches, 2 gallons of water. We're gonna put it into Tyler, and we're gonna wait 20 days
on a very special episode of Chopped Junior.
But that's all I'm saying is that, like, you know, you have to take in all this. We were talking about the biological process, spermatogenesis. By the way, I learned also. I started doing. Yeah, I don't know. I started doing this thing where I'm like researching cum a lot. It's like after I masturbate and or have sex and or intentional, like sex with me is weird. But I thought like sometimes you're laying there and you're like, man, I don't know if I'll ever get out of bed. And then that's why I get out my iPad and I'm like, oh, tell me how sperm is made, because then I think like if I watch it, then I'll like maybe the sperm will start getting made and then I can get out of bed.
Wait,
it doesn't make any sense, but like I'm, you know, like
your mobility is sperm based.
Well, I don't know. I'm like a caveman. Like when I'm in that mode, I'm like I don't know. So the only scientific thing that I know is different is that I came a bunch, and now I can't get out of bed. So I think, like, I knew somebody who worked in porn, and they were on a set when Peter North like finished a scene, and then he finished. Peter North, who's like famous for coming a bunch, he finished coming, and then he like and I was like, so what does he do after he finishes? I asked the person, like, you watched Peter North come, like, what happens after? And
he has 4 pina coladas.
And he said Peter North, he turns into a little boy and he goes like, oh man, I need some cereal.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's so Dirk Diggler, like he's like Jethro Bodine, like but who are we gonna trust if not him? Like some kind of cumologist? Like maybe Peter North maybe he's just joyfully wrong, but maybe he's like expertly right. He's just like eating fucking frosted mini wheats and milk because it kind of reminds him of cum when he looks at it. It's like, that must make cum. I gotta cum more later.
So somebody told me it was Golden Grams, that was his thing. He liked Golden Grams.
I bet, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
That was his Popeye spinach.
I love the idea that it's just based on the milk, but I swear, like, sometimes, you know, when you come a lot, don't you? Sometimes you go like, man, this has been great. I love this feeling, but also, like, can I get some motivation back? Can I start living in denial again? What do I got to do that? And you think like, well, the refractory period must be based on like your balls start. I just have to assume that your balls start making. I don't know.
You know the idea about the refractory period? It's really, really. You had Chris Ryan on the show before, the author of Sex and Dawn. So one of the ideas about the refractory period is that from an evolutionary perspective, it's better for a woman to have multiple mates. So because then the strongest sperm is gonna survive.
Fucked up. That's why I don't watch rom-coms.
That's the
because there's like that height of romance, but yeah, I know it's probably true though, because it's like I've read stuff about
you're making love to your lover
where,
in the primordial past. You're making love. You come inside of her. You're like, I love you. I'm gonna go to bed. and then you like start going to bed, and then your friend is like, "Can I start fucking her now?"
And either you're like, "Yeah, man, more than
or
merrier."
she's like, "Yeah, let's do it," or not.
Or she's
but the idea is
out.
like, yeah, so the idea is the refractory period is actually designed to make sure that so the question is,
so what was that?
Why can women have multiple orgasms?
Why are multiple mates important though? What does that?
So the idea is like if you had some kind of like, I don't know, something was going on with you and you weren't like making like powerful loads, whatever that may be.
In a crazy like what if? Yeah.
But the question is like, why would it be the big question?
Like a golden gram shortage.
I go away for 2 weeks and come back to the jizz show.
I love talking about cum.
But the question,
I really do.
You got to go on Cumtown.
Harmontown. The question is, a woman can have multiple orgasms with a.
That's not true. That's not true. That's a myth. We'll be right back.
That's all.
You hear it all the time, but it's not true. It's something they're saying. They were talking about it at the Wonder Woman premiere, but you couldn't get in. It's not true and it's not fair.
Not true.
Sorry.
No, you're right. It's not true.
No, come on, no. What do you finish your thought? I'm sorry.
No, I mean the idea is like the question is just like why would it be that a man has like this really intense reaction to orgasm,
right?
Which we call the refractory period, whereas a woman can have multiple orgasms. And the implication, according to Chris Ryan, is that, well, this is clearly like created with the idea of like a multiplicity of levels.
Right. Well, but Chris, I mean, that's what's interesting about Chris Ryan because he's a well-needed like update to Desmond Morris, who's in the '60s. But Desmond Morris's theory about that was that, but I don't want to be part of a patriarchy. But the Desmond Morris theory was that men fall asleep because then you bond emotionally with your lover.
Bullshit.
Well, but here's the thing. There's a
because we get sleepy.
But there is a scientifically like it goes back to it all has to do with human babies being more biologically vulnerable than tiger babies, deer babies, and cactus babies.
I don't know, but I mean I don't know. I think like Chris Ryan makes
it's probably that's why I don't want to. That's why I disclaim the fuck out of it. But I do think that this delight. I really prefer the Desmond Morris theory. Like all the biological quirks about us are all designed for pair bonding because our babies need two parents.
Well, you can still pair bond. I mean, like it's not. You can't. The idea isn't that you. By the way, I'm like severely, embarrassingly monogamous. So don't get me wrong. I'm not some kind of like just got back from Burning Man, Dan, and now I've learned we got to be non-monogamous. Your girlfriend's pretty. I'm not like that. Don't worry, man. That's not fucking happening. I'm severely, desperately, and based on insecurity, completely fucking monogamous. So don't get me wrong, but like from a perspective of like, yeah, like the idea kind of would be, and again, this is not my idea. Like I couldn't do this, but the idea would be if you really love somebody, wouldn't you want them to come a lot?
No, not with you.
Dan,
I'd have to love you and not them.
Dan, if you really love Cody, let Duncan fuck tonight.
Listen, man. Listen, I didn't say it like that.
We're sitting right next to Steve Perfect Cock Levy over here. Let her have a good Saturday night. It's Saturday night. Let her live a little.
Look, I don't want to forbid Steve and Duncan to fuck Cody.
Now you're talking.
I want Cody to not want that.
All right. Well, no, again, and I made a dumb joke. Wait, let me just say this very quickly. I just made a stupid, dumb joke. I don't mean that at all. What I'm saying is it's like, from my POV in the society that I was born into, because of my own levels of insecurity and where I'm at in my life, I want to be monogamous and I will continue to be monogamous. I'm not changing that. Right. That's me. That's who I am. I've always been like that. I can't change it. But if you zoom out, right, and you look at like what evolution wants, right, and then you realize monogamy itself is a cultural, it's like a new imposition.
It dovetails with this whole thing about anarchy versus capitalism, because it's like it's like, oh, you know what? I get to pretend I was born into this stainless steel concrete jungle and that, hey, it wasn't my idea to do this, but hey, will you be my girlfriend and all that stuff. At the same time as I'm like, hey, it wasn't my idea to have the American dollar be the standard of the entire planet. But hey, what are you going to do? But then push comes to shove, as in cultural upheaval, and right now capitalistically, we're going like, yeah, again, but though theoretically anarchy is the, like...
Not theoretically.
It's not the more popular way to do it, but it is the way that like we would do it. And I think you're saying the same thing about polyamory or whatever they call it. These kids. You could just, if you go to the bathroom here, it's disgusting. Okay, it was a joke, or maybe not. I have a special bathroom upstairs. It's rhinestones and just all the cultists' daughters. But yeah, I mean, I think you're saying the same thing I am, which is like theoretically, intellectually, not wanting to be guilty of dishonesty, one should acknowledge it. Yeah, probably there's a freer humankind that functions better and healthier. But then also it's important then to go, just as I did before I quit smoking, where I was like, I like smoking. Like my therapist says, awareness, acceptance, change. People skip acceptance. Like you go like, oh, I'm aware. I'm doing this. I'm gonna stop doing it. And then you're like, and then you just ping pong back and forth. That's why I don't quit drinking. I have to accept it first. I've become aware I drink a lot. I'm still working on accepting it. Then I'll change it later.
I've seen you accept a lot of drinks.
Me too.
Especially, but that guy with it's all one big city.
Speaking of drinks, we never shout him out. Matt, the bartender over here. Matt, our bartender.
Yeah, give a big team!
Truly the hardest working person in Harmontown.
All right. Well,
keeping these bunch of fucking reprobates happy.
I apologize to Spencer. I know he's going to say he doesn't give a fuck, but like that's because he's my son. But whatever. We'll talk about it later.
All these jokes about fucking my mom, all of a sudden a line.
And my fascination with cum.
Right.
I
always just
sandwiches?
wrote off your fascination with cum as normal. But perspective.
Duncan was making me feel better, so I kept him in my mouth like one of those
ring pops,
like one of those Levy cocks.
One of those delicious.
So you know what? It's not that. Why am I making the diameter? No, it's like a nice broomstick diameter, and it's gentle but firm, and it's there when you need it. And if you get thirsty afterwards, it gets you a glass of water without you asking.
Whoa!
So you can make more cum, ladies.
Steve Levy's dick does something that almost no other dick does. In the morning, it makes you the best avocado toast you've ever fucking had. It's a little basil, a little feta on it, some olive oil. Fucking perfect.
I did get an argument. I got in an argument with this dick, though.
Oh, no.
Because I said to it, this is just a sandwich, man. Avocado toast is just a sandwich. All right, forget it. That's for another podcast.
Let Duncan know you want him to come back by thanking him with your hands.
Thank you, Duncan. Duncan Trussell.
I feel like
he just makes everything a little bit better, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he does.
He's like walking serotonin.
All right, why don't you marry him? He's probably back there fucking my girlfriend.
In the beginning of that rant, I thought you were going to say you wanted, like, it just sounded like you wanted like an incremental cum clicker, like cookie collector, where like you get the inner workings.
That would be amazing.
And you like manufacture your own sperm, and finally you'd have an understanding
loads,
of.
I know. I swear to God, I really am.
Can we stop saying loads?
I'm not. I don't know what to ejaculate batches. I don't. What there is no.
Quantum.
The language fails. Like it is a truly fascinating thing that as mammals we take in energy and then then we have a little factory that has to dangle between our legs because it requires like a degree cooler environment just for the chemical process of making them, not storing them. Once they're made, they're fine in summer, whatever. Like, but they gotta get made 1 degree cooler, and they're just like those little fucking missiles that are just loaded with the need to hit an egg, and they're like simultaneously geniuses and idiots, and they're just disposable, and we're just constantly making them until the day they bury us. But like women's eggs are like they're finite, and they're giant, like they're the size of the sun compared to a sperm's rocket, and like it's just like this amazing. I'm just so fascinated with all of it.